Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Evil Within AKUMU difficulty walkthrough. We are moving on to Chapter 9, and you're going to wake up in the hospital here, use the time to spend any keys you have, bulk up on resources, do some upgrades. You know the drill by now. But yeah, so this is Chapter 9, and I would say that I have pretty mixed feelings about this chapter. So in terms of the gameplay, I find it to be a very boring and frustrating chapter. I feel like there's no real objective. I almost feel like I'm not getting anything done when I play this level. So just personally, I'm not a fan of the actual objectives of the level. But the saving point is, this is a level that really sheds some backstory on Ruvik and his upbringing and kind of the events that led him to where he is today. So that's the one good thing about this chapter, is it really sheds light on the story. So if you're following the story, you might want to watch the cutscenes that are in this video. There's quite a few of them. If you're playing the game for yourself, I think you know what I mean. But yeah, this can just be a really frustrating chapter. So real quick, before you can leave the hospital here, you're going to have to zoom in on this portrait, and then Tatiana, she's going to come over here and start talking to you, and then you'll have to zoom in on the picture again, and that will trigger a little potential jump scare for you. So I'm going to go ahead and let you watch that right here. Alright, so I don't know if that scared you or not. It didn't really scare me when it happened. I thought it was kind of a failed jump scare, but anyway, now that you've done that, you can go ahead and leave the hospital. And so this chapter, it can be very frustrating because what happens is you are going to be transported to the mansion, and this is the Victoriano family mansion. I think that's the name. So Victoriano, if that is the name, that's Ruvik's last name. His real name is actually Ruben. But the point is, you're going to be at this mansion, and as soon as you walk into the mansion, I think a lot of you might be reminded of the original Resident Evil mansion, just because it has that same kind of mysterious and dark decor. That was the thing. When I started this chapter, I thought, oh wow, this mansion looks so fun. I kind of want to explore and solve some puzzles and whatnot. And there's not really any of that. There's not a lot of room for exploration. It's a pretty linear path. There's no puzzles. The closest you get is these little like brain operation procedures, but those aren't really puzzles. So like, I just felt like this level had so much potential, and it just kind of went to waste. Like, they introduced this really creepy mansion, and it was just, okay, you know, here's an empty set piece for you. And to make things worse, what'll happen is, as you're making your way through the mansion, Ruvik will actually spawn randomly, and when he spawns, he'll chase you, and sometimes he'll spawn some haunted to chase you as well. And the thing is, you have no defense against him. You cannot shoot him, or you can shoot him, but you're just going to waste your ammo. So real quick, there's a statue up in that tree with a key in it, so you might want to pick that up. And then there's some green gel and stuff. There's some matches right here, so it pays to just, not matches, pistol ammo. But then back here, there's going to be some green gel. I can't remember if there's matches or not. But yeah, so Ruvik will spawn occasionally, and the problem is when he spawns, you can't do anything. Like, you just have to run away from him. And the problem with that is the rooms in the mansion are kind of small. So sometimes what will happen is you'll have a room in front of you and a room behind you. Ruvik will spawn, but you won't see him. And so you'll start turning around thinking he spawned in the room behind you. So then you'll run to the room in front of you to get away from him. And then it turns out he actually spawned in the room in front of you. And then you just end up dying, because as soon as he gets close to you, it's an instant kill. So it's very frustrating. And believe it or not, this is kind of crappy to say, but the only solution is dying. So I found through my experience that every time he killed me, whenever I would spawn, during the next playthrough, he would not spawn. Like, it's almost as if the game scaled it and said, oh, you're having a hard time getting away from Ruvik, I'll go ahead and not spawn him this time to make things easier for you. So the good news is, if you find yourself dying, based on my experience, Ruvik will start spawning less and less. But there is an overall strategy you could engage here, and what that is save as often as possible. That way, if you die, you won't have to worry about the limited number of checkpoints. So you can always visit the save room. And then the thing is, there's going to be 3 brain puzzles in this area, and you'll get a checkpoint after you complete every brain puzzle. So you don't want to spend a lot of time exploring here. You might want to look around for the keys and the green gel, but all in all, you do not want to spend too much time exploring. You just want to try to run from brain to brain so that you can trigger those checkpoints. Now this room here is also very weird because the first time I played this, there was an enemy in here chewing on that dead guy. And then the second time I played it, there was no one there. So if there is a guy there, try to stealth kill him or maybe throw a bottle at his face and stun him so that you don't have to waste ammo. But as you can see, sometimes he's just straight up not going to be there. So unfortunately, this level is just very inconsistent. Sometimes Ruvik will spawn, sometimes he won't, sometimes there's going to be an enemy there, sometimes there won't. It's just, it's hard to predict, and because of that, it's kind of hard to make a walkthrough for. But there you go, there's another key up there, and then if you follow this room around, you're going to come to the first of 3 brain puzzles. And like I said, after you complete each one, you will get a checkpoint. So the overall strategy here is you're just going to try to run from puzzle to puzzle so that you can keep triggering those checkpoints. And that way, if Ruvik does spawn and kill you, you won't have to backtrack as much. Alright, and so for this puzzle, I'm going to show you how you actually would solve it if you weren't using a walkthrough. If you look to the left right here, you'll see this diagram of the brain, and you can see that the one that's labeled F7, he mentions it right now in his audio tape. And so that's kind of your cue that that's where you need to probe. So you're going to look on that diagram to see where it is, and then, so you see it's in the lower left quadrant of the brain, and then you'll pick that same spot here with the actual probe, which you control with the joystick, and then you just insert that, and that's it. Now the tough part here is if you insert the probe in the wrong spot, it actually causes damage, and I think it'll actually kill you.
Is this, what did you call it? Your inner sanctum? A research lab of your own? I am most impressed.
Why are you back? I didn't give you permission.
Come now, we're both men of science. Men of science are dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. You can show me your experiments. I can show you things.
You wouldn't like them. You'd think they're gross.
In science, one must do any number of things a layperson may find disgusting. I've done many things others would consider distasteful.
You think I'm some kind of a monster?
You concern yourself so much with your appearance, but that mind of yours, that's all that matters.
Alright, so after that little dialogue, you're going to continue back the way you came, and it's usually right now where Ruvik will spawn for the first time and start chasing you. But like I said, based on my experience, he did spawn, he killed me, and then when I, reloaded the checkpoint, he didn't spawn the second time. So I don't know if that was just something that happened on my end, or if that's pretty consistent throughout everyone's experience. But I found that the more you die, the less Ruvik will start spawning, almost as if the game is kind of scaling it down a little bit. But anyway, so like I said, our goal here is to kind of just get from checkpoint to checkpoint as quickly as possible. So what did I just do? I did the first brain puzzle, and I got a checkpoint. So now I'm going to try to get to the second puzzle as quickly as possible so that I can get another checkpoint, and then every time you get a checkpoint, that's less gameplay that you're going to have to backtrack on. Now right here, you're going to come into this room and get the lower safe dial, and then you're going to go ahead and observe this picture here. What you're looking for is that there's 2 people. There are 2 people in the lower half of the picture, so that's going to be important later on. Other than that, there's nothing else in this room except a key, which is pretty nicely hidden. So you're going to look up here in this window, or in this skylight, and then in that corner right there is going to be a statue that you can shoot down and get yourself a key. And then you don't have to come back to this room anymore. So now what we're going to do is now that I picked up the key, I'm going to run to the save room, and I'm going to spend those keys so that I can hopefully get some more ammo and green gel. And then also, I'm going to use the opportunity, I think, to save my game. Just again, because you want to save as frequently as you can in this level, so that you don't have to backtrack as much every time Ruvik spawns and kills you. But like I said, so the more you die, the less he'll spawn. And I think in this video, he never actually spawns. Because every time he spawned, I got killed. I could never successfully run away from him. Because I guess you won't see it if he doesn't spawn. But when he does spawn, the only way you notice is that the game turns blue. But you can't actually sometimes see where it is he spawns. So you might accidentally turn around and run right into him. And it's not really fair. But anyway, you're going to come into the library here, equip a frozen bolt or a freeze bolt, and walk into this room, freeze these two guys, and then just take them out with a quick melee. And the reason I recommend using the freeze bolt here is because you're going to see in the library there's actually a freeze bolt that you can pick up. So I don't have any problem spending it if I know I can just, pick it up instantly. So I actually passed it right here. There's some green gel right there, and then there's the freeze bolt right there that you're going to want to pick up. Also notice how I grabbed the hatchet from the room that I killed those two guys in, because now I'm going to come up to the second floor here. There's going to be a dead guy laying on the other end of this room, and he's not going to wake up until you get closer to the objective right here. So you're going to pick this up. This is the upper safe dial. So now we have everything we need to open the safe, but we're not going to quite do that yet. This guy's pretty fast, so sometimes I try running away from him, but in the end I usually find it beneficial to just go ahead and kill him. He's really fast. And again, this is a common area for Ruvik to spawn, so just be careful. If he does spawn, you might want to run around in circles on that upper floor, and maybe that will be effective. But now we're going to rush into this hallway, and everything you see me doing right now, this is optional. I'm only coming in this room to get the resources. If you find that Ruvik's killing you a lot in this area, then you're just going to want to skip this, and you're going to want to run straight for the second brain. But yeah, these two rooms here, there's really nothing in here that you need. It's just green gel and matches. So you don't need to come in here. In fact, there's going to be a couple haunted that will come investigate in there. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to run into this area. Now this room, you might want to run in there because there is a map fragment that you're going to want to pick up. But all I was doing here was I was just making sure the haunted weren't following me, and you can see that that guy eventually lost interest, so I'm safe. And so the map fragment is right here in the bathtub, and then you're going to come to this large room, and as you try to leave, you're going to get grabbed by this trap. And this is really easy. Just shoot the red light, and that's it. Super simple. Very, very easy. And you have a lot of time to shoot, so you shouldn't find yourself dying in that area. But anyway, now you're going to rush into this room here, and I wouldn't even bother searching this room yet, like I know I did. But again, if there is a statue here, but you can get that later. But if Ruvik's chasing you, you're just going to want to run straight for this fireplace here, and then you can see there's going to be a secret tunnel, which will take us to like a little private study. And then in this room, there's a bunch of green gel. There is a explosive bolt, and then there's the second brain puzzle. And so again, this is where things can get really stressful, because if you mess up the brain puzzle, I think it'll kill you, and you don't get a checkpoint before this, which makes it important to save your game as frequently as possible in the save station so that you don't spawn all the way back at the first brain puzzle. That's really why it's important to try to save as often as you can. But anyway, again, there's a diagram on the lower left, or you can just watch where I place it, so kind of in the middle back of the brain, and that should do the trick. So go ahead and do that. And now there's only one more brain puzzle to go, and then that's going to, we're going to see another cutscene which kind of sheds some light on Ruvik, so go ahead and make your way back, and I'll let you watch that.
Oh, Father, if you only knew how satisfying that look on your face is. Did you actually think? If you locked me away, I would just cease to exist. Out of sight, out of mind. You did. You did. Didn't you? Oh, you were never out of my mind. I hope you're proud of yourselves.
Alright, so after that conversation, again, this is kind of a common time for Ruvik to spawn, but again, you're going to see he ended up not spawning for me because I died a couple times. But you do get a checkpoint after the brain puzzle, and the third, the rest is pretty simple. So you're just going to continue along through this hallway, and you're going to come to this room here. Now, if you look to the right, you're going to see a haunted on the ground, and there's going to be some green gel behind him. I'm just going to skip that. This guy's going to run through the door. I'm just going to knock him out, and then just run right past him. I'm not even going to waste ammo on him, well, except for that initial shotgun blast. But I'm just going to kill him, and then I'm going to immediately run back to the save room so that I can save my game. Because once you leave that room, that's another common time for Ruvik to spawn. So by saving my game right here, I'm just once again ensuring that I don't have to do any annoying replays, because I'm saving my game, and that should be enough. So anyway, back to the mansion. Now we have the 2 safe dials, and so we're going to go to this room on the lower floor. The haunted from the previous room are actually chasing me. I wasn't expecting that, but it is possible, so you gotta be careful. Now I'm gonna come into this room here. Notice though how I do not kick open the door. That's because there's a haunted behind that cloth. So you're gonna wanna crouch, sneak up, and hopefully get a stealth kill. She does turn around very quickly, so try to do that as fast as possible. And then there's just some resources in here. There's some trap parts and green gel. And then keep in mind, like I said, the haunted from the previous room, so you saw me just run past them. Because I did that, they ended up following me. So you just want to be careful. Here he is. I'm just going to knock him out. Drop a match. Pick up this hatchet for later. And now we're pretty much good to go. So as long as you picked up the 2 safe dials, again, remember, the first one was on the upper floor, the room in the center, and then the second one was in the library, which is the upper room on the left. So you're going to need both of those to get to the 3rd brain puzzle. And then also, I forgot to do this, but when I picked up the second safe, or when I picked up the second safe lock, I did not observe the picture. So remember, the first time I picked one up, I observed a picture that had 2 people on the bottom. If you observe the picture again when you pick up the second one, you'll see that there's 11 people on top, and that's important because that tells you the safe combination, which you'll see in a second. And so if you do observe the pictures like you're supposed to, the lock will actually solve itself. But if you don't, like I did, you're going to have to solve it manually, which again is possible as long as you know how to read the picture, which it's pretty easy to do. So, and again, that's a guy that just followed me from the 2nd floor because I ran past all those guys. I'm kind of surprised he made it all the way here, but that's AKUMU mode for you. Alright, so anyway, here you go. You can insert the 2 dials in, and then the combination is going to be 11 on top and 2 on bottom. Again, like I said, this should happen automatically if you observe both pictures, but if you did not, then you're going to have to enter this manually. And that's it. Pretty easy. And that picture, the same picture, is actually in this room as well, so you can always reference that if you forget the combination. Anyway, you're going to come here. This is the 3rd brain puzzle. Same exact thing as before. Diagram on the bottom left. This diagram is a little different because the brain is actually kind of separated into 3 different pieces. But again, I think the easiest way is if you're having trouble with this, just watch exactly where I placed the probe. So it's going to be right here at this kind of like thick intersection. So again, just follow exactly where I'm doing it. Notice where the light is, and that's where you're going to do it. And there you go. So now that you've done that, you have solved all 3 brain puzzles, and we can get out of this mansion. We're going to have to fight, or we're going to have to do kind of a bit of like story-related stuff, and then a boss.
The hospital has not received the family's usual donation this year.
And why would they? Has the hospital been doing anything worthy of donation?
The Victoriano family has always been a generous contributor. Where are your parents?
They have gone away.
When do you expect them?
Is there something you wish to discuss, Doctor?
I came to inform you that the hospital will no longer be able to provide you with assistance. Materials. Your research will very quickly disintegrate.
How dare you come into my home and threaten me?
After that scene, we can return back to the front room of the mansion. There's going to be these two guys that burst through the door. If you picked up that hatchet earlier, then just go ahead and use it on one of them, and then dodge the other guy, and you can actually just forget about him completely. And technically, you could forget about both of them. It's just I had the hatchet, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to use it anywhere else in this chapter, so I figured I would just use it right there. But yeah, so once you get in here, those guys, they can't follow you, so you have nothing to worry about with that. And so now this is just a little bit of like story exposition. There's not a lot of whole tough gameplay here until a little later, so you can kind of kick back and just enjoy creepy child Ruvik doing creepy child things. But anyway, so I was going to present to you guys with an option. This kind of just came in my mind out of nowhere, but I was thinking about a video I could make for fun where I would do sort of like an MTV Cribs thing, except it would be me showing you my setup. So I basically would have my friend hold the camera, and I just kind of want to show you guys like my tech setup, the monitors I use, how it's all arranged, the consoles, the computer, just kind of give you guys like a behind-the-scenes thing on how I actually produce these videos. I thought it'd be a lot of fun, especially because when I was first starting my channel, I had a lot of questions, like I didn't know what kind of cameras my favorite YouTubers used and all this other stuff, and I always looked up videos and I could never find any. And then a few months ago, PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye both made setup videos where they really went in depth, like showing their tech setup, and I really enjoyed those videos because it feels very personal. Like it feels like they're kind of inviting you into their home and showing you what they do. So that's a video I was thinking about making. If that's something you'd like to see, then leave a comment below letting me know. It's not something I'm going to get to anytime soon because September, I think I mentioned this in another video, but September is going to be a very hectic month for me. And then October and November, there's going to be a ton of new games coming out. So in all honesty, it's probably not something I would get to until like December, but it is an idea I just have had on the back burners, and I wanted to see what you guys thought of it. And then a couple other ideas I had was, I remember I saw this video from Maka91 Productions, Maka's Guides. So that's a guy that does a lot of achievement and trophy guides. I really enjoy his videos. He did this video where he basically showed off his achievement collection. So he just went and showed like how many games he's got 100% on, which games he's most proud of. He just basically showed off his entire achievement collection. And I was thinking that might be fun to do for both my achievements and my trophies. I don't have that many trophies because I haven't had my PS4 for that long and I don't play it that much. Or at least I didn't. But I do have a lot of achievements. I have like over 60,000 gamer scores, so there is a lot to show. Anyway, you're going to come to this area here. Just pull your pistol out and follow this path that I'm taking. Shoot that bomb so that it doesn't blow you up. Shoot the lock off here. And again, just follow this exact path. Now do be careful here. There's going to be 2 or 3 bear traps littered around. You're not going to have really time to disarm all of them. Now right here, I'm just waiting for the blood monster to walk near the bomb, and then for some reason he just straight up spawned right in front of me, which I did not appreciate. But then just dodge those bear traps. Right here, this is, I don't know what the point of this is, but there's this spinning saw blade which you can just easily walk in front of. And then one more lock to shoot off, and that's it. So that part, it's stressful more than anything. It's not actually hard, as long as you know the path you need to take. The monster is really slow, even on AKUMU mode, so you shouldn't be too worried about that. Anyway, like I was saying, I was thinking about making those videos where I just kind of show you guys my achievement collection and my trophy collection. So again, if those are videos you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. And I have a list, I have a list in my room where I keep track of different video ideas, so I'll add them to the list. Anyway, here's going to be a short cutscene.
as I led here.
Alright, and now one of the last things we need to do before the boss is we just have to approach the barn. Before you go inside, there is some stuff you can pick up on the outside. So if you go around the left here, there's some pistol shells and then some green gel. And then if you go around to the right, I think there's some sniper rifle ammo and then some more green gel if I remember correctly, which I do not. It's more pistol rounds. And oh, okay, there's the sniper ammo. I knew there was sniper ammo. Anyway, now you're ready to fight the blood monster. So go ahead and go inside of the barn, and you'll see a little flashback playing of young Ruvik and Laura.
I know you're in here. I can hear you breathing.
So if you thought we were done with Laura, you thought wrong. We're actually going to have to fight her at the end of the next chapter. But anyway, here's a cutscene.
Rich bastards think they can buy up all our land.
They need to be shown who really owns these parts.
Hey, I think there's kids in there. I didn't hear anything. What the?
Somebody, open the door! Reuben! Reuben, you have to climb!
Shit. I better get out of here.
Alright guys, so this is the last part of the level. This is the blood boss. He's actually kind of difficult, not because he's tough to fight, but it's because you're in kind of a small area, and if you accidentally bump into one of these burning walls, you will catch on fire and get killed immediately. So that's the only thing that makes it tough. The other thing is, like, you can't actually hurt the blood boss directly, I think. He spawns a bunch of haunted, and you just kind of have to kill all of them, and eventually after you've killed enough, the fight will be over. So it's not a very fun fight. It's kind of frustrating. Shock bolts and flash bolts are going to be your best friend because, like I said, it's just very close quarters, so those tend to help kind of give you some breathing room. Some weapons to avoid, grenades and explosive bolts, because it's just too close. You'll likely get caught in the explosion. Shotgun is great. Sniper rifle, probably a weapon to avoid. Last key is going to be behind these hay bales here. You have to burn them, and then you'll get access. And then yeah, so you're going to try to exit through this window here, and that's when you're going to get knocked back. Now, another hard part of this fight is you always have to keep track of where the blood monster is, because if he gets too close to you, it's a one-hit kill. Well, everything's a one-hit kill on AKUMU, but if he gets close to you, you don't even have a chance. He's just going to kill you immediately. So you'll see here he's going to start spawning haunted. So shock bolts are very effective here because it's such close quarters that you have a good chance. I don't know how that guy did not catch flame. I think that's crap, but sometimes it happens. But anyway, shotgun is a great weapon for this fight. But yeah, honestly try to get as many of them as close together as possible, and then shoot a shock bolt. I missed my opportunity right there to burn all those guys because the blood monster got too close to me and I had to run away. But then you can see the flash bolt actually killed them for me. The explosive bolt right there, that was stupid. I didn't know they were dead, so I just shot that in a panic. But yeah, notice how I'm just kind of running in circles around the blood monster. The shotgun, again, is just great because anytime a haunted is running towards you, if you get stressed out, you can just shoot it and knock it down. But anyway, like I said, so you see right there, it only took about 2 minutes, a minute and a half. You just you gotta kind of ride it out. I think it's one of these fights that if you survive long enough, it'll be over. I don't think it necessarily matters how many haunted you kill. It's just, can you survive long enough for this cutscene to trigger? And that's another reason I don't really like this fight, is because I honestly don't know what the specifications are to finish the fight. I don't know if you have to kill a certain amount of Haunted. I don't know if you have to just cause a certain amount of damage to him. I don't know if it's a time limit thing. It's just very unclear. And again, from my perspective, that makes it hard to make a walkthrough, because I can't tell you guys, you know, it's not like down to a science. I can't say, okay, do this and you'll be fine. But all in all, it's not a tough fight. It's really, it might take you a couple tries. I think it took me like 2 or 3. But all in all, compared to the other things you do in this game, it's not very tough. But anyway, guys, that is the end of Chapter 9. Thank goodness, because I need a drink of water. My throat is starting to hurt, and I need to finish this commentary. Especially because Chapter 10 is like 52 minutes long, so I don't know if I'm going to do that now or not. But anyway, that'll be the end. Thank you guys for watching. Those videos ideas that I pitched, let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, like and subscribe if you get the chance. Glad you all are enjoying the walkthrough. And I'll see you in Chapter 10, which is probably the second hardest level in the game.